I have a family. I have kids. I have a roof. I have a vehicle outside that still need gas. I'm in the same boat as everybody else.
LaShonda Palmer is a TSA officer at Philadelphia International Airport and the AFGE Local 333 president. She says supporting her family and everyday needs are becoming increasingly difficult as a partial government shutdown stretches into 2 months. She's now missed 3 paychecks so far.
This is extremely challenging because I've been here for 24 years. And in 24 years, I've experienced many furloughs, but never none like these under this administration.
Frustration among TSA workers around the country is mounting. Department of Homeland Security reports the call-out rate reached a high on Sunday at almost 12%. NBC News reports 400 officers have quit since the shutdown began.
They call out for no gas. Some people can't make it over the bridge. Some people can't afford childcare, so childcare isn't helping. I mean, it's a lot of things.
The Trump administration has now deployed ICE agents to help fill the gap at airports around the country. NBC News reports they'll be at 13 airports, including PHL. On Monday, agents were seen at the airport, but not actively working security.
What are your colleagues saying about this?
They're afraid. They're worried.
About what?
The thought of what can happen with their presence being there.
In the meantime, several nonprofits have set up a food pantry at PHL to help TSA officers get through the tough times while they remain on the job and unpaid.
But the one time we don't do our job is the one time that we're going to take a chance that something comes through. We have been very successful nationwide. Every uniformed officer who works TSA should be proud of the job they do.
It's hard to be, of course, you can be proud of the job you do, but it gets frustrating when you're not getting paid for what you do. That's hard to, like she said, there's child care, there's mortgage bills, there's bills piling up everywhere, and the prices are just getting higher and higher. And it doesn't help that the administration just keeps getting into seems like pissing matches, trying to win, but it's only hurting the people who who aren't getting paid. Let's keep going into this.
And NBC 10 spoke to another union leader who believes those ICE agents will begin working here at PHL tomorrow, but DHS has not confirmed that yet. We're live at Philadelphia International Airport. Johnny.
So it's a crazy times we're living in. Let's go over to one more video where more people, this is a couple, a married couple, who are dealing with the same things, TSA agents.
My next guest will now have to choose between showing up to work or feeding their young kids. Oksana and Duran Kelly are married and have been TSA officers for about a decade now. And this shutdown is impacting their entire family. Neither one of them is getting paid, but they still have to show up to work, even though it's not paying the bills. And they're worried about rent, food, and now their son's 7th birthday. It's today. And they wanted to take him to a trampoline park, but sadly, they say they can't afford to do that. Oksana and Duran Kelly join me now from Orlando. Boy, Oksana, let me start with you, Mom. How did you explain to your son that you can't celebrate his birthday the way he wants to? And how did that go over?
I think during the shutdown, this is probably the hardest thing I have to do. Sorry, I was not planning on crying at all. I think having to explain to him that mommy and daddy go to work, but not bringing any money in. And, you know, he's been asking about birthday trampoline park for probably since his last birthday. And, you know, he was getting excited and he's like, is this something we're doing? And we're like, sorry, buddy, you know, this birthday is going to be at the community park because mommy and daddy can't afford trampoline park. So, you know, it's just a hard decision to make between paying bills or, you know, doing a birthday party for your children.
And Duran, you actually have 2 kids. How did you talk to both your children about this?
Well, Phoenix, he's 7, so he's a little bit more understanding of the situation. He knows that mommy and daddy have to go to work, and right now we can't do all the extra things that we like to do for him, like take him to basketball games and stuff like that. So he's understanding, but Adonis, the youngest one, he doesn't fully understand what's going on. He just knows that I'm telling him a lot more no's than yes, and it's a little frustrating for him at points.
And Duran, you actually considered resigning from TSA before all of this, right? And we know you're moonlighting now as a delivery driver. How's that going? And do you think that you're going to stay at TSA when this is all over?
It's definitely a frustrating situation knowing that you have to go to work, not receive a paycheck, then you still have to find another way to provide for your family. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open for anything better to provide for my family. So if anything pops up, I'm definitely going to have to more than likely take it at this particular moment.
Wow. And Oksana, what about you? I mean, this is the second shutdown within the past year. Have you had to dip into your savings? How are you guys making ends meet right now?
We definitely had to deepen our savings. I know I've seen, a lot on the internet where people saying, oh, people should have been saving. First of all, I don't know if, people understand that we don't make as much as a lot of people think, but we did have savings. And this is second shutdown within the past 100+ days, I'm sorry, yes. And we had to dip into savings first time. We barely recovered from the first shutdown. We had to dip into savings second time, but our savings are not unlimited. Like I was telling somebody, I might be able to pay mortgage this one last time, but after this, I have nothing else to pay bills with. We still have to find money to pay for utilities, keep electricity on. We still have to take our kids to school. We still have to pay for gas to come to work. And most importantly, we have to pay for food for our children.
This is the realest thing about this whole situation, y'all. Times are hard for everyone, especially if you're going to work, putting your time into something that you truly care about and work there for, they said, a decade, at least a decade. But then they don't get anything out of it 2 times in the past 100 days. Who is to blame for this? Some people will blame Trump, some people blame Democrats. But in general, we need to find a way to get the TSA paid because no one should be working without a paycheck. Because if same thing like what he was saying, if I would be thinking of gone, I probably would have already been gone by now. After the first shutdown and just knowing that it's most likely going to happen again, I would have already tried to change career paths. But let's keep going into this, y'all.
And you're both still showing up to work. You've had these challenges. I know one of the kids is in school, but what about the youngest? Are you having to pay for childcare? Do you have folks that are helping you with that right now? How is that working out?
Luckily, he is in like a free school, so we don't have to pay any expenses for that. But because they do go to 2 different schools that are, at 2 different locations, not only we have to spend gas to drop one off, then spend gas, to drop another one off. We also have to do it on the way home, pick one up, pick another one up. And, we work 2 different shifts and we live more than an hour away from the airport. So it's extremely straining. It's, mentally and physically exhausting at this point.
All right.
And with gas prices going crazy, I would have left.
I'm going to ask you both. Final question. Your message to lawmakers right now who are not getting a deal done. Duran?
Oh, man. My simple thing is we don't want your pity. We just want our paychecks.
There you go. That's the headline. Oksana, your thoughts?
My thoughts are pretty simple. I feel like they're playing with our lives and they have to remember when they just say TSA people, TSA officers, agency, they have to remember that it's the real people and real families they're talking about. We all have children, we all have parents that, people take care of it. It's not just some random officers, it's real people.
Well,
it is real. That is the realest. It is real people who are affected by this. Real people are struggling right now because they aren't getting paid. Could you have stayed? Could you have stayed doing the job? Or would you have left? It's a wild situation. It's crazy times. But let me know your thoughts on this situation. Let me know how you feel about it, y'all.